My name is Emma Carter. I'm 31. There's a small cruelty to anniversaries. They arrive with a calendar ping and a light that refuses to lie. For 2 years, I'd built our ordinary life like you build a quiet house, careful choices, steady savings, the sort of tenderness that reads as reliability. Daniel Reed fit into that life the way a favorite sweater fits a cold shoulder. Familiar, warm, often unremarked. We'd been engaged 6 months. We'd booked a venue, paid deposits, imagined the picture of ourselves at the altar, and called it future. I planned our anniversary to be a promise kept. Same Italian restaurant where he'd proposed. The same corner table that smelled of lemon oil and roasted garlic. I pulled strings. Marco, the manager, who still remembered the way Daniel had knelt, the way the waiter had dropped a napkin that night, like a confetti ritual. I ordered lilies because he always picked flowers with the same precise patience. I had the pendant wrapped in tissue in my coat pocket, a small diamond he'd admired months ago, the sort of thing that feels like a sentence you say aloud to yourself because you mean it. That morning, he kissed me at the door, all easy warmth. 7:30, he asked. Can't wait. The kind of line you record in memory as a minor, perfect thing. I left work early, hair trimmed, roses picked. The table was set by 7:20, Prosecco chilled, the petals breathing on porcelain. I texted him at 5, heading out. Love you. He'd shot back an emoji and a love you too. At 7:30, I sat with the napkin folded like a small promise. At 7:45, I sent a single text. Everything okay? The kind of message that asks nothing, simply confirms presence. Read. No reply. By 8:15, I'd called twice. Declined both times. My stomach tightened in a sympathy for catastrophe. If he were driving, a call would ring. If he were hurt, he wouldn't be declining. At 8:45, the table's lavender hush felt thin. I paid the Prosecco and left with the necklace still in my pocket. The city lights blurred into something fierce and small, a compound of possibility I didn't yet know I would lose. Back home, the apartment felt too loud. Daniel's car was gone. The pendant lay like an accusation on the dresser. His tablet, the thing he used for work, for playlists, for that distracted half of his life, pinged with a message I hadn't expected. A name I didn't know, Maya Lopez, and a thread that read like a parallel life. Hey, stranger. Then, miss our rooftop nights. Then later, see you tonight? I'll say I'm at Claire's. The timestamps threaded back 2 months. My hands moved of their own accord. I read the messages like diagrams, looking for the way the map pointed from fiction to fact. Tuesday's thread. Almost there, babe. The message sent at 8:47. His love you that morning had already been co-opted by someone else's small mercy. Something quiet shifted in me. Not a dramatized snap, but a cold, decisive clarity. I didn't call him. I didn't shout in the street. I did the arithmetic of what we had built together. The lease with both our names, the deposits on the venue, photographer, caterer, receipts that lived in my email because I'd paid them, because I'd believed in a shared future. $8,000 of non-refundable hope sat in digital folders. At 11:30 p.m., while the city slept, my phone lit with a text. The party ran late. Don't wait up. Plain, casual, a dismissal that smelled of planning. I replied once, precise, noted. Then I started packing with methodical hands. Her art supplies, the yoga mat she loved but rarely used, the small collection of jewelry I'd given her over the years. I wrapped her grandmother's vases, the ones she insisted she'd keep safe. I wrapped them because safekeeping isn't always mutual. When her car rolled back into the driveway at 4:15 a.m., she was an undone silhouette of perfume and rumpled dress. She moved like someone who believed a story of plausible deniability. She slipped inside barefoot, a grin slackening when she saw the boxes stacked like declarations. Funny time to come home, I said, voice even. She feigned a lack of drama. Girls' night ran late. Claire texted, traffic. The scripted calm should have dissolved something inside me. Instead, I held up the tablet, the thread, the rooftop mention, the explicit plan. Her face changed, from cool to pale to a practice of denial. It's not what you think, she said quickly. Then anger, thin and deflective. You snooped. The accusation landed like an old weight. I let it. I didn't snoop for sport, I said. You told me you were at Claire's, and you told Mark our anniversary was next week. You changed our date for him. Why?" Her answers came in quick practice fragments. I was overwhelmed. We were just talking. It didn't mean anything. When the taunt came, a curl of mockery about control, I felt my hands steady in a way that surprised me. "You asked where I was at 4 in the morning," she said, voice small, mocking. "Tough guy. Control much?" "Not anymore," I thought, and handed her a folder with cold, clean copies. Venue cancellation, photographer's message, caterer invoice. The financial wreckage I had compiled in a tight, ugly hour. No theatrics, just the facts that reminded her our life had had a price. "You canceled the wedding," she whispered, shock and rage braided. "We were engaged." "You were with someone else on our anniversary," I said. "That's not a mistake. That's a choice." For a few minutes, she cycled through the defense chart. Denial, bargaining, blame. She tried pleading, then accusing, then projecting. I listened like a witness to a practiced bewilderment. When the speech about being overwhelmed turned into a demand, "You owe me compensation," I laughed quietly, with a bitterness that felt like currency. "You want half back of deposits you didn't pay?" I said. "You made a choice. The deposits are on my card. I'll not be extorted for your lies." She called her sister Ava and sobbed into my phone while still standing in my hallway. She called her mother. She flung accusations across the city. Within hours, someone had posted the long performative version of victimhood on social media. The comments at first sided with her. People love a narrative, until screenshots began to circulate. A friend who knew the venue messaged, "Are you okay? Can you send me what happened?" The tide turned. People want truth when it's presented cleanly and with receipts. When she finally left in a swirl of threats and a PayPal request for $4,000, declined, redirected, ignored, I felt less relief than something like a reclamation. I'd wrapped her things and left the pendant on the dresser, unoffered. I'd packed the receipts and marked the deposits as losses against a future that, apparently, was not ours to lose together. I sat on the sofa among boxes and vases, the city quiet in the glass. My phone buzzed once that night with an unknown number, a message from someone named Mark, asking to talk man to man, his voice smug in text. I deleted it. Outside, the world kept moving. Inside, the locks changed quietly while the neighbor's cat watched from the sill. The necklace would buy a plane ticket I'd always promised myself. The wedding deposits were a lesson I'd pay for in more ways than money. At dawn, I called Ava and said simply, "Not anymore." Morning came slow, the light too gentle for the ruin it fell on. Boxes still lined the hallway like evidence, half of her things gone, the other half waiting for pickup. The air smelled of lilies, the same ones I'd ordered for our anniversary. They'd started to wilt. I brewed coffee, black and bitter. It felt right that way. At 9:12 a.m., her message arrived. "You didn't have to humiliate me like that. No apology, no ownership. Just accusation wrapped in victimhood, her favorite form of control." I typed, deleted, retyped, then sent only one line. "You humiliated yourself, Emma. I just stopped cleaning up after you." I didn't wait for a reply. By noon, she showed up at the apartment. Sunglasses, trembling hands, mascara she hadn't had time to wipe. She didn't knock. She still thought she had that right. "Are you really doing this?" she asked, her voice already rehearsed. 4 years, Daniel. You're just ending the part where you lie to my face," I finished. Her jaw tightened. "We were engaged. You don't throw that away." "No," I said. "You did. On a rooftop, apparently." Her face flickered, half disbelief, half fury. "You went through my messages?" "I went through the evidence you left in plain sight," I said. "Don't make it sound like I hacked your conscience." She flinched, then pivoted. Classic Emma defense. Emotional exhaustion. Fake tears. "You don't understand what it's like being with someone like you. You make everything about control and perfection." That landed, but not the way she hoped. For years, she'd used my steadiness as her excuse to drift. I was the anchor she could blame for her boredom. I picked up one of the boxes. "Your things are in here. I labeled them. You can get the rest when I'm gone." "Gone?" "I signed my name off the lease. I'm moving into the condo we were supposed to rent after the wedding. The deposit's paid, and you won't have to pretend anymore." She blinked. "You can't just—" "I already did." When she realized logic wouldn't move me, she switched tactics. "I still love you," she said quietly. "You don't stop loving someone overnight." I studied her for a long moment. You stopped long before overnight. Silence. Then bitterness. You think you're perfect, don't you? The calm one. The victim. I don't think I'm perfect, I said. I just think I'm done. Ava showed up that afternoon. She'd seen Emma's version of events on social media, the crying selfie, the caption about betrayal. It took Ava exactly 3 sentences to see through it. She always did like to star in her own tragedy, Ava muttered, dropping a bag of takeout on the counter. She's good at it, I said dryly. Ava studied me for a beat. You okay? I'm not sure, I admitted, but I'm not broken. That feels new. We ate in silence, the kind of silence that didn't demand explanations. That night, I started sorting through the leftover logistics of a life, canceling the honeymoon flights, freezing the joint account, blocking her number. Each click, each confirmation felt like reclaiming an inch of myself. When I got to the engagement ring insurance, the one I'd filed weeks earlier, I paused. The policy listed her as co-owner. I deleted her name, saved, and whispered the line that had become my armor. Not anymore. The next morning, the quiet felt different. Not empty, just mine. Outside, rain started to fall, soft, unhurried. I stood by the window, holding my coffee, watching it trace little rivers down the glass. For the first time in months, I didn't wonder where she was or who she was with. I just breathed. You never realize how fast a private story becomes public until people start picking sides. By Monday morning, the whispers had found their way into my office group chat. Someone had screenshotted Emma's post. When controlling men punish you for having male friends, ladies, trust your gut. Underneath, supportive emojis, heart reactions, the usual sisterhood chorus. But by lunch, the tone had changed. A comment appeared. Didn't you skip your anniversary dinner to hang out with your ex? Then another. Wasn't he the one who paid for the wedding deposits? By 3 p.m. the post was gone, but screenshots have their own half-life. That night, I got a message from an unfamiliar name, Sophie H. Hi, are you Daniel? I think we need to talk about Emma and Mark. My heart sank. That name, Mark, the ex from the yoga studio, the one she swore she hadn't seen in months. Yes, what's going on? She replied almost instantly. He's my boyfriend. Or was. Until I saw those screenshots. She told him she was spending the night at a friend's on your anniversary. There it was, confirmation, clean and cold. I'm sorry, I wrote. You didn't deserve that. Neither did you, she said. But maybe we can fix the record. I'm not the revenge type. I just like clarity. We met for coffee the next day. She was calm in that way people get when they've already burned through the rage. No theatrics, just quiet precision. Sophie slid her phone across the table. Texts, photos, timestamps, Emma's girls' night lining up perfectly with Mark's work event. I thought she was his old yoga friend, Sophie said. Then I realized she was the reason he stopped coming home. She looked at me, steady. Do you want to make this public? I shook my head. No, I just want the truth to exist somewhere, even if no one sees it. Sophie nodded. That's fair. I'll handle Mark. You handle her. Handle her. That part was easier said than done. Because when I blocked her, she found new ways to reach me. Private numbers. Fake accounts. Voicemails that started apologetic and ended vindictive. You ruined my life, she hissed in one of them. Do you know what people are saying about me now? I didn't respond. Because I did know. And the thing about truth is, once it's out, it doesn't need help spreading. A week later, Ava called. Emma's crowdfunding now, she said, disbelief tangled in laughter. For what? For financial recovery after relationship abuse. I laughed, sharp and humorless. How's that going for her? She's raised $50 from Mom. Meanwhile, Sophie went surgical. She ran the yoga studio with Mark. 60% hers, 40% his. Within 2 weeks, she bought him out. Fair value minus his work event expenses and hotel receipts. Turns out Emma wasn't his only secret. Sophie found credit card charges, messages, and even security footage. Different women, different nights. Mark's fall was fast. Sponsors dropped him, his account lost verification, and the studio flourished without him. Emma tried to stand by him publicly. We rise from ashes together, her post read. It got 12 likes, half from fake accounts. A week later, she deleted that too. Then came the voicemail, a voice I almost didn't recognize. Daniel, I just found out about the other women. I thought I mattered. I thought I was special. A pause. I ruined everything for nothing. I just needed you to know that. For a long time after the message ended, I sat there, phone in hand, heart strangely still. Pity, maybe, but not the kind she wanted. Because even through the static, I could hear it, the sound of someone realizing too late that she'd mistaken destruction for freedom.